Hello again. I must confess to an unpleasant streak in my nature, which allows me to gain pleasure at the sight of people eagerly queuing up to be tricked and defrauded. I realise this is ill-natured of me and far from attractive, but I sometimes stop to watch when I see the three-card trick being played on people in central London. I need nobody to point out to me that Schadenfreude is not an attractive character trait, but there it is. I am currently feeling much the same way watching our government play what is in effect the three-card trick on the general public, and witnessing some people showing great enthusiasm for being swindled and misled by a set of rogues whom I wouldn't trust further than I can throw them. Yesterday, the Home Secretary solemnly announced that some illegal immigrants picked up in the Channel and trying to get to this country by small boats had been detained and were going to be sent back to France. This is, of course, what many people have been clamouring for a long while now. As usual, though, the government are playing a bit of a trick on us. Let me explain just how this particular three-card trick is worked. So watch very carefully as I talk you through it. There are in France millions of rootless drifters from Africa and Asia, most of whom wish to come and live in our country. They may be satisfied with France for a while in the short term, but their aim is always Britain. If they could ever manage to settle in France long enough to get citizenship, they would be over here like a shot, trying to live here instead. Some of these folk have applied for asylum in France as a stopgap measure until they can come here. Others just head straight to the coast and try and sail across the Channel, not bothering with France at all. On Wednesday, 155 of these people set off in small boats and were duly picked up by the Border Field Force and the RNLI lifeboats. Now, watch this number carefully. 155. In the description to this video, I give a link to the government website, which provides that figure for arrivals. It seems that dozens of these people have been detained, we are told several dozen, and are now being held in secure accommodation pending deportation back to France. We don't know the exact number, but let's say for the sake of argument that there are 2 dozen of them. That is to say 24. The other 131 will, of course, be taken to hotels and put up at our expense. Let us suppose that we do manage to get France to take back those 24 men. In return, France will send us 24 of the immigrants who have entered their country and not set off in small boats. One out, one in, you see. Or indeed, one in and one out. These are exactly the same kind of people who are camped out in the sand dunes on the French coast near Calais and Dunkirk. So we had 155 of these types arriving on Wednesday, and after swapping them around and making it look as though we are getting tough, we still end up with 155 of them. See why I said this was a bit like the three-card trick? If and when this really gets going, this scheme, we will see the government announcing daily figures for removals in an effort to make it look as though they're cracking down, while not mentioning the people arriving in exchange for those we are deporting. In other words, even if the scheme was massively expanded, it would make not the slightest difference to anything, because however many immigrants make their way across the channel in small boats, that is still the number that we are numbered with. Perhaps viewers can see why I'm watching all this process with a certain amount of enjoyment.